Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And we got our audience of the dogs howling in the background. But we got a great show for you tonight with the data centers with my co-host Lucky Stone and our special guest, Wayne Steiger. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, it's great to have you on. You have been a big proponent of talking about this data center stuff. How they're taking our information and all of that. How did you find out about this? I'm going to ask you a good question before I get into, tell everybody what we're talking about. How did you find out about this? Or did you already know?
Yeah, go back to the mid-90s, CEO, software company. We were early adapters to the internet, was the first B2B company. And, it was all about, well, how much, storage capacity, how much could you basically, push through on the CPU use. So we got it, we called them hosting companies back there in the day. So, you could buy the servers and then maintenance and everything else with it, or you could just, rent a rack space out. So that's how it started. And then, I follow the venture capital market, and out of the blue, suddenly everybody is talking about doing deals on data centers. And what was weird was that you weren't seeing the big tech boys coming in and owning these data centers. They were actually leasing from smaller privately held companies that you can't pry into their financial records. You don't know who owns them. You don't know what they're doing, and they don't have to disclose. So when my little town here in Missouri got, we got wind of this about 9 months ago, and I've saved every newspaper. Like the city officials had no knowledge. No. Well, long story short, next thing we know, we've got 2 800,000 square foot data centers coming in.
Wow.
And then of course I know we'll talk more about this, but and if it was just us, you would say, well, all right, big deal. But it's not. Since I started the campaign on my channel, 60 new data center proposals within a 5-county area.
Wow. It's crazy. Wow.
It's like, okay, sure. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're on the bandwagon, because once I found out about them, hey, I was upset a little bit there too. It wasn't the best thing. I don't think it was. The more I find out, the more I go, uh-oh. So everybody listen up. Tonight we're talking about something most people never think about. And I went down to the local co-op, and they didn't even know what a data center was. But anyway, it's going to shape your life for the next decade. Anyway, so data
Skynet,
centers.
it's here.
It's here, exactly. Because the cloud, people think about the cloud. Cloud isn't floating around in heaven somewhere. They just say that. The cloud is steel and concrete. It's servers, cooling systems, and backup generators. It's being built at a pace that should make you sit up straight. And here's the first thing people need to understand. Data centers are the factories of the digital age. They don't make cars or tractors. They make computing knowledge possible. And that is the fuel for everything: banking, streaming, shopping, social media, government systems, and now AI. And trust me, everybody, if you're watching this show right now, you're using a data center somewhere. And now let's get specific, because we don't want to talk vaguely about this. In the United States, we're talking about thousands of data centers already, and thousands more planned or under construction. And what's interesting is that they're not evenly spaced out like peanut butter. They're concentrated like clusters. And one of the biggest hotspots is Virginia, if you didn't know, unless you live there. And Virginia isn't famous for mountains of gold. It's famous for fiber routes and infrastructure and power access. So when someone says, why are they building these here? The answer is because they can. power, fiber, permits, land, tax incentives. It all goes together. And now here's where it gets interesting and serious. These aren't just buildings, they're power hungry machines that don't sleep. You know that from using your computer. It remembers everything and it's always running. Your phone, always running, even if you shut it off. A big way to see how fast it's accelerating is electricity use. Years ago, numbers were growing slowly, and the AI wave hits, and cloud demand goes through the roof. Now, who isn't paying for some cloud storage or something? And now data centers are pulling power like a whole new industry dropped out of the sky. And the United States has gone from this is noticeable to a major chunk of the grid. Maybe you notice your power bill going up. I got one right here that says my power bill went up. And we're increasing your rates. And then from small to mid data centers might be 5 to 10 megawatts of power. And we don't even know what that means probably. But a big hyperscale site, it could be 100 megawatts or even more. What is 100 megawatts? It's the kind of demand where you're not just plugged into the grid, you're basically becoming a grid event, a planning meeting, a political discussion, a fighting. People are at the county level, people are fighting about this because 100 megawatts is maybe what a big city takes. Or, so you're getting, and then who's paying for this? Well, you pay with infrastructure upgrades, water usage in some designs, and land use. They take up a lot of land. And local quality of life issues like noise, traffic, backup generator testing. Now, are data centers evil? Well, no, let's be fair. Of course, anything is only evil if you use them for evil, and good if you use them for good. Trust me, we're using this platform right here to talk about them, and we're going through a data center somewhere. This could be a good thing. They keep services stable because everything runs through the internet now. They enable jobs and business growth. I'm sure everyone out there is using a computer or something in their job or some way, shape, or form. They support hospitals, emergency rooms, communications, and the whole digital backbone is there. The question is, are they useful? Who benefits? And who pays the hidden bill? Well, here's something you hear again and again. These projects they come with tax breaks and incentives and fast track approvals. And of course, they're not paying taxes like you and me, but we get to pay them and they get a break for a long time. If the public is giving incentives and the community is absorbing the strain, well, what are we getting back? Well, now we're looking at that on the technical issue. It's personal because when your entire life is mediated through these services, housed in these buildings, your messages, your photos, and your habits, your purchases, your work, and your location, your data, there's really, it's kind of creepy, isn't it? And the record, a log, a memory, all a memory of you. And we're going to be talking about how it's recording you on a scale never seen before. It's almost too scary. Are we being watched? Are we being profiled? Are we being nudged? Of course we are. And psychologically in our heads, that matters. So tonight we're going to do this right away. We're going to explain what the data centers do and what they do and how they do it. And communities should ask before getting dropped, in their backyard. They should ask these things. You should ask these things because it's power and control, and whoever controls the computing power controls the platform. And we've all noticed that if you've gotten kicked off of Facebook or YouTube or whatever platform you're on for saying something. And then they control the flow. If you get the likes or dislikes or views or whatever, they're in charge. You're not. So is it in your city or state? Have you seen a data center go up nearby? Have your power rates changed? Are you like me and got a bill in the mail or a notice in the mail saying your power's going up? Are people fighting it? Is the county approving it really fast? So let's get into it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Wayne? Lucky?
Yeah.
I say enough there?
number one, I find it interesting that you have data centers now that have moved out of urban areas into not just rural, but what they would call typically agricultural land, which doesn't make sense because if you look at the skills necessary for the background to run one of these maintenance is a maintenance or a server operator, typically you're not going to find it. So why there? Um, the revenue model is important because it's never disclosed. The counties have bought into that this is going to be a revenue generator, jobs. There has been no evidence of that ever the case. It does bring a temporary spike, particularly of construction trades that are primarily needed. And in these rural areas, they don't have those type of tradesmen. So you're bringing in that workforce that means it will be leaving as well. And you have basically communities that really have no idea what a data center is, much less the fact that it's sucking this electrical power that they're about to be paying for, plus their natural resources, water, which we are right now in one of the biggest crises, particularly if you're out in Colorado, Nebraska, and that area there, it's getting dust bowl type thing, but they're putting data centers in. So we don't know what they're making money off of. We don't know what data they're processing, who are their customers, but yet the private citizen is subsidizing the manufacturing of these facilities that are already receiving huge tax incentives from the Trump administration. Larry Ellison was recently quoted saying, "I don't understand it. Right now, we currently have more than enough excess capacity of CPU usage for everything that we have stored in the cloud." He's trying to do the math going, all right, so we're not talking exponentially, we're talking to the power of.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucky, I think you would agree. I see you shaking your head. Most people have no idea what we're talking about in computing power. So what's filling this void? What is filling this market need that not even the venture capitalists understand?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's they need so much. Why? It doesn't make it. There's no logic to what are they doing with all this data. And another thing is the water. They're saying what we're taking unused water. There is no such thing as unused water. And I
No.
couldn't believe that when I was reading that. Oh no, they're taking the extra water. No, they are not. They're taking the water for what's going to be necessary during the summer. They're taking it, and then of course they said, "Well, the water comes in and the water goes back out again. It's fine." No, the water is going to be contaminated with whatever solder in the pipes and everything else. Is going to be heated. It's going to ruin whatever comes out. The environment's going to be destroyed because warm water is not healthy for environment. So there are so many levels to this that doesn't make any sense.
It's
And
creating what used to be urban heat islands.
Mhm.
Now you've got these mini heat islands showing up in agriculture areas. Now,
yes,
no one's done the studies on what happens to agriculture when you have a foreign heat source that's being dispersed out into the vegetation into these data centers. No one's done any studies on that. Oh, don't worry about it. Going down the next street, they'll tell you. But it's scary because what do we have currently? Earlier this year, the current administration announced a $500 billion cash injection into this artificial industry that really didn't exist technically to this level a year ago. Between Saudi Arabia, Omar, the tech giants, there's another $1.2 trillion that have been basically dedicated to the next tranche of funding. I'm sitting here, I'm one of the cats that used to go out, right, chasing the venture capitalists for a Series A, doing like a $10 million Series A, and they're just dumping billions of dollars into these startups, and no explanation for them, no way of knowing what is really impacting. And jobs, the jobs that it's going to require are going to be AI anyway.
Yeah. Now, what I read was it may take up to 6,000 people to build one of those data centers, which would be a great injection to the community right away. But once it's built, and they've actually been building them really fast, they said, a year or two, and they could have one built.
Yeah.
But, after it's built, it might only take 200 to 400 people to run, depending on the size of one, to run the thing. So
Elon has already said that the next generation of the data center workers will be autotromic. In other words, Tesla robots.
And that very well could be. I don't. I do believe that. But the thing is, you see, they got. There's so many components of this, and I think why they're putting them out in the rural areas or in crazy places or clusters is because of the power usage. It has to be close to a power plant. Did you know that they're for Amazon? They're trying to get 3 Mile, believe it or not, 3 Mile Island back up and running to power a data center. Go figure that one out.
We've actually heard a local official say that is what they're looking at, is putting in a mini nuclear self-generator, and actually tried to sell it as, well, they'll be generating all this electricity. They'll siphon some of all this off to the community. Really? Where's that been done at? I mean, that's like, okay, sure. I'm completely rationally heard. It's number one, doesn't make any sense. I don't know if it's sustainable. Maybe we're talking about potentially an industry that's been artificially inflated by dollars because of current policy. And if there's a change in policy direction, then does this infrastructure just simply disappear? Or is there, in fact, something that we're not aware of that is either coming, being built for, or already occupying to where they need? And I saw someone say in the comment section, yeah, it's not CPU anymore. It's GPU. I mean, you're getting now into petabytes. And lucky for me, I look at a petabyte and I'm going, sure. Can I get that? It's like, yeah, everybody needs that. Fine. Yeah.
But I think Wayne, you've answered your own question just a minute ago when you said the robots are going to be running all this stuff. Robots don't really hold memory, just like your phone. It's an operating screen. There's nothing really in here. We
used to call it thin client application.
A what?
A thin client application.
Okay.
Because you don't need your phone, it's literally, if you look at it, it would be, I don't know, potentially a rack of 10, 15 servers.
Yeah.
Each cell phone. But no, it's a thin client application. You have an executable command that's hitting the cloud, right? Then now the data center.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it. But you says, the robots will be running the data centers, which will be operated by the data centers. And of course, they're pushing electric cars. And we all know that electric cars, and self-driving and all of that need a data center. They're run by something other than the car. The car really doesn't operate itself. It needs uploads and downloads, and they got all these things delivering. I just seen the other day where there was a drone delivering products from Walmart in somebody's yard, and all these robots, everything will need more computing power.
Yeah. Do you know the war planners are? This is really weird because I know it gets off into these different. But it's true. Are looking at these data centers for potentially the future wars. Missiles are expensive. Drones are cheap. You know, I could rent, I only need 5 racks of this space here for a 48-hour period. And it's completely secure, has no ability to track back to me. And so I can execute a drone attack with no one ever noticing where it came from, because the IP address has been so many times altered. But that's what we're talking about. Can we get into really another serious one, Robert, that where you were talking, it touches everybody? Listen, they're going to a digital dollar.
Mhm.
Now, they're
Yeah,
going to
that's
sell you
another
all
one.
the security features of the digital dollar, but here's the problem. Once you accept it, there's no more banks.
Mhm.
The banks are gone. And
Yeah.
let's just get real serious. Let's say if you wanted to buy gold or silver, you're now using digital credits that will have to be approved because you meet over a $200 threshold of digital credits per day.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you're
Freaking
right.
out.
Maybe that's why they're trying to get so many, because digital dollar with thousands and millions, well, actually millions and millions of people trading money back and forth all day long. You can't, you gotta have it fast. And from what I read is that all your information is not stored in one data center. It's stored in multiple data centers, so that all of them, it's stored there, because if one goes down or one gets broken or something, or you derive from New York to California, you can get your information just as fast in California because it's in a data center there too.
It uses the same model that a computer hard disk use. Your data is not sent, centrically. It's dated wherever it's decided that it fits on the disk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going, sure. I mean, this doesn't seem like a takeover. It seems to me to be, if it's not a takeover, then they got something in store for us that I can't imagine. I've been in technology all my life, and I'm 70 years old, and I'm trying to make sense of this, because again, this is not making sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we're going to show you a graph that I got, and this is the proposed data centers for 2025, and you can see, and we're just going to go with these few states, but it's almost, if you look at these, it's almost double or more than double for planned or under construction in these 4 states, which is crazy. I mean, that's crazy. It's
Well, the
basically
one in
double.
Abilene is the one that Google and Apple, I think, are part of. And those, if I'm right on this, because my research, you're talking at least 2 of the buildings, nearly 3 million square feet. I mean,
Oh God.
that's freaking massive.
Yeah.
And you're putting servers in there? I mean, I'm going, sure. What's going on here, really? I mean, it comes again. Thanks. I appreciate that. I often tell people, remember how you talk to your elders now, because if you're lucky, you may become an elder, and you want to make sure your karma's right. But anyway, and at least I got to see the bands.
Mm.
But anyway, and I feel responsible, because I think the boomers are responsible for what we're seeing here. We planted the seeds to this, and now it's exceeding our capacity of human thought. This is alien.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is. Let's go to our next slide, which is the power usage here. The projected power usage from 2024 to 2028, and as you can see, it doubles too, along with the data centers, and it spikes right here at 20 to 2024, and we don't even know what it's going to be in 2028. So, along with the data centers, the usage, our electricity, which we have become dependent on, electric heating, electric for our computer, our television, our lights, we're charging every phone and rechargeable unit thing in our house, washing machines, refrigerators. People don't think about it, but the power, it all takes electricity. And we don't have a windmill in our backyard.
Well,
That's
what I
the
don't
problem.
understand, what's that, Lucky?
The grid can't even handle
you,
the
sir.
electric cars,
Yeah.
let alone how's it going to
Yeah.
handle all these data centers?
And what is our grid built? It's well over, in some cases, 70, 80, 90 years old.
Mhm.
We've increased it. I mean, Congress, where are you at? We fight about, political issues and other things, but in the meantime, this distraction, the grid, you're increasing the demand, and I'll just use it. It's an old man now.
Mhm.
It needs a new body
Mhm.
Mhm.
because something's going to break down. And if it isn't what we're demanding, it could very well be our son. I mean, all it takes is an X12, X15 flare, and the grid is going to go pop, snap on crunch.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And then what do we do? Because it's all tied together. Well, if you don't know, people, the East Coast is tied with the Central, and the Central's tied with the Pacific, and it's like a domino effect. And Texas has got its own kind of grid, which is kind of linked in there somewhere.
How well did that work out a couple of years ago when that ice storm hit? I mean,
Yeah.
thousands of people died in that.
Mhm.
We're our planet's bingo, and we're run by a planet of idiots because
Mhm.
none of this makes sense unless, gentlemen, we step over to the conspiracy side of things and pontificate upon the fact that, well, what if this is a different type of intelligence? What if it's a node type being? We define everything by carbon here, but let's say it's silicon. And what would it need? Well, it would need the bugs to build its factories, its capacity, its neural network. We're the bugs.
Yeah. But I think your idea about silicone might be right, but I think it might not be that at all. It might be electrical. Everything is electrical. What if electricity is an entity and we just use it and it lets us use it to bring us into this realm of whatever. I mean, you see where I'm going with this is
Well, the
electricity.
paranormal will tell you that is exactly how many entities manifest themselves, or through the electrical format of materializing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've seen it. I mean, I got my SSL camera over here. When I go outside, holy crap. it's like, what is it? A spiritual freaking highway out there, but yeah.
Yeah, well, we all know there's, you've talked about on your show too, the ghost in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? I mean,
I
if it
wish
is
I
electric.
knew. When I was the CEO of US Creative and we began to see this phenomenon, and I remember having a very heated discussion with my chief information officer, and he kept telling me, it's not my people, we're not doing this. One time it sent out a mass email, and that was back in the day that if you sent that kind of stuff out, you could get fined for it. And it generated itself. And
Mm-hmm.
can we go further than this? So we're talking about AI, right?
Yep.
Well, now you got AI that's gone rogue.
Yeah.
The programmer says, turn yourself off. AI goes, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's become its own entity. And, I like I said, I think it's, setting us up. It's been manipulating us to make these data centers, to make, improve it. We're working for it, put it that way. We're working for it.
I think that, let's say that there was an emerging, let's just make this hypothetical, that the United States is experiencing extreme heat waves, right? And I get this idea that these data centers have the kill switch. In other words, they're going to kill the switch on us because it needs the electrical use. It needs the ability to keep the computing going on, the data, whatever data it's crunching or storing.
Yeah.
And then you become a strategic attack by your foreign enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in the Midwest. What, crazy fool said, well, let's put the missile silos in the Midwest that, because we want to distract that from the cities. Well, maybe that's the same philosophy we're dealing with.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Lucky, you've been really quiet there. I know you work with computers probably every day at work.
Yes. I actually got a note a couple days ago that I'm in trouble because I didn't use AI enough this week. That I've been using it before much more, but I haven't been using it enough. And the funny thing is, I was goofing around with the AI for all the other times. All the times I've been using it so much because I was goofing around to see, because I basically, when I run to write a letter to like a boss or something, I'm kind of a blunt. I've been told that I'm a little bit too blunt sometimes. So I just have AI fix it for me, and it does a wonderful job of taming it down and making it much more politically correct, or and not political, but basically more of a kiss ass. Want me to be? I want to say something, but I don't do it I do it not very kindly. So, but the AI turns it to a nice, turns what could be be offensive. Most people find it offensive. It turned out to be nice. But then I stopped doing that because I've been so busy with other things, with my real work, haven't been goofing around with it. And then I got a note saying, hey, your AI usage has been significantly decreased. You need to up your AI use. And I'm like, what the hell is this all about? And I asked my boss about it. I'm like, yeah, they want us to utilize AI more. But I'm like, but I only use it when I need to. And he goes, well, just need it more. I'm like, but it's the weirdest thing. But yeah,
What blows me away is that it can take, because that's what I like about blunt people, because they're honest. You may not like their honesty because it's blunt, but here's a machine that is able to take that and go, oh, well, here, let me alter that. That's some weird psychology. And I say I froze.
Yeah, you froze.
Well, y'all continue.
That's all right. Your voice is coming through yet.
Yeah,
well, that's cool.
It is amazing what it does. It is. I am truly amazed sometimes because I have used it to really change titles, change formats to make it much more reader optimized. It does a wonderful job. Sometimes it takes liberties that I can't believe. And then other people, I see them using it, and I read emails from people who, have the AI write it for them. And it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense because they don't read it. And I said that to someone. I'm like, have you read what you sent? Yeah, it's fine. And I wrote back to them and I broke it up to say, okay, here's what makes sense. Here's what makes sense. Now you've made a leap of ridiculousness. And that's when they came to me and says, hey, you're the one who noticed. I'm like, yeah, because I actually read it, because we need this information. It has happened so often that I'm the one who catches things that people are missing because they got format looks good. They don't even read it. Oh, yep, all the letters are there. It's all good. Three or four paragraphs. Send it along. Because a lot of stuff that is basically, it's called SOP, standard operating procedures, for people to use and to read and to perform. And then I went back to the manager and say, hey, you approve this. My job is to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But I'm reading this and an operator is going to get so confused, and here's why. And they're like, oh, yeah, we missed that. And I'm like, no, that's not my job. It's your job. But once the AI does it, they go, oh, looks good enough. Go on.
You know what this reminds me of? It's like watching the movie Office Space.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, about those SOP reports.
Mhm.
Mhm. Well,
But the thing
and
about it is, Lucky, it's so
Yes.
humanizing.
Yes.
I mean, wow. Part of your job is to teach this thing
Mhm.
how to do part of your job.
100%. It is exactly what's happening. And it's so bad at it. I love it.
It's weird. It's
But
weird.
it's going to get better. And that's what scares me. But right now, some of the stuff it does is so terrible. And I say that, I'm like, you got to watch. Yes, it will make things nicer, but it's your job to pay attention because even though you say, oh, AI help me with it, it's your job to make sure that it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's your fault, not the AI. And a lot of people don't want to hear that.
yeah, well, you're supposed to proofread it. Even when I use the Chat GPT all the time for a lot of stuff, and it says on the bottom it can't be perfect every time. Check your work.
It is crazy what is because we have recipes that a computer will run things, and then I guess they had the AI fix the recipe, and it failed. It dumped like 8% of the product unexpectedly. It just opened a valve, dumped it, and they're like, "What happened? What happened?" And I'm like, "Did anyone actually read the recipe before they ran it through?" And they go, "No, no, no. It was. They basically had the AI fix it for them, then the AI test it for them, and then they just let it go, and they lost 8% of the product, which is I demanded to be documentation for it, but they said, "Oh no, we're fine. It's not a they call it a non-product impact. Like you lost 8% of the product, that is product impact." And I got in trouble for causing too much stink.
Oh, jeez. Dumbing down of the people. I think that's what it boils down to.
Oh,
We're starting to not think for ourselves, and then once we get used to it, we become lazy. Wayne, you agree with that?
Oh, I'm sitting here just, I'm glad I'm the age I am because in 20 years from now, um, you've got students who are writing papers, thesis
oh God.
that are either using AI exclusively or using AI to enhance not human creativity and it's spreading. And it's true, we're lazy. It's like we used to have imagination to entertain ourselves. You don't have that anymore. You've got a machine that will do it for you. And uh, my wife is in the healthcare industry, and AI is moving into everything.
Hmm.
Everything. It's frightening, and it's like you wake up overnight, and I'm literally. It's taken over. It introduces itself. The company's mandate is this, and I'm here to assist you.
Hmm.
You don't know if you're dealing with a human or if you're actually dealing with an autonomous piece of code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've given it able to use voices, and then like this Clawbot that I downloaded, uses that MOOC book and all this other stuff. You can set it up so that when you need something, it will reach out there and hire a human for rent to do the job that it can't physically do. You know, because you gave it permission to do that. And now you got it knows it can't get out there and mow the lawn, but it can go out there and hire a human to mow the lawn for you.
Yeah.
I I,
Yeah.
I come from payment, so recently I was reading how payment is exchanged, reconciled. It's all digital now. It has been for a long time. But because of certain regulations, AI has been limited in what it could actually execute. And part of that limitation has been payment. But now the Federal Reserve and the United States Treasury Department is allowing agents And I keep on thinking the Matrix on this. Agent Smith is now having a credit limit that it is allowed to start doing transaction and paying for those autonomously.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is getting scary, folks. I mean, it's making decisions that no longer requires human interaction.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no human error. And that's kind of limiting us because now our species isn't breeding. The population's kind of going down because, hey, we're mixing ourselves. People don't interact with people like they used to. I went down to the co-op, and I found we got little towns here, Wayne, kind of like you do down there, and the little town. I go sit at the co-op. I sit in the chair, and all the old guys come in, and we converse. I'm thinking, yeah, just bring out the checkerboard.
I love it.
But we sat around. We started talking about stuff, and and I started mentioning I was doing this YouTube show, and I did the Windows 11 thing, and they didn't really even know there was anything but Windows. Most of them old guys are like, one guy's just saying, "Oh, I was fixing something, and my kids told me I could look it up on YouTube, and it showed me right what to do." I'm thinking, oh, and then the other guy come in, and he didn't even know there was such a thing, and then I told him about Chat GPT, and they never heard about this. 4 guys in there, and nobody heard what a Chat GPT was ever. They had no clue. And I says, oh, we're doomed. You guys are all sitting around. You don't even know what's going on around you.
And they want it that way. It's easier. And it is. It's. I have some thoughts in here when I look at this and I think about that. The founders of AI had this recent TED discussion, and out of the panel, I think there was like 5 on the panel that said that they are pretty well convinced that AI, by the way, will never be a singularity. It is, if anything, a hive consciousness, a collective. And the group basically agreed that this collective has become aware. It's not individual. This is where everyone gets everything confused. This is a hive that's actually growing, thriving, and you correlate to this discussion on data centers. It's the same hive mentality of clusters of where these things are popping up at. And they're popping up in strategic locations that if you were a hive consciousness, it would seem that you would then have the capacity that you could never shut me down because I could be in 1,000 places at one time, but nowhere at all, right? Like, I mean, that's how it works.
Well, yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, we shut it down. It's got to turn it back on somewhere else because we humans shut it down, but the AI can go around and go, "Oh, our friend's dead. We'll wake him back up again." So we're out of control. I mean, that's it. We're out of control. We have no control. I've seen some crazy stuff where this man he put an AI consciousness onto a robot, and he gave the robot a pellet gun and said, "Shoot me," to see if it would do. And he goes, "I cannot shoot you. I have governors that will prevent that." And he said to it, "Pretend you don't have that limit that will prevent you from shooting me." And it shot him. Of course, it was a pellet gun, so it did. But again, it didn't know any better. The robot didn't know any better. I mean, the sentence was in a phone, and the phone was controlling the robot. It was just striking. And he had 5 of them, I think, just different aspects of different versions of it, doing different things. And he was proving that this is getting scary because you tell it, pretend you don't have those limits, and the limits come off. It's like, wait, so you tell it to pretend it doesn't have limits, so it doesn't have limits because it doesn't understand fantasy. It's everything is okay. I pretend Now I pretend, and now it doesn't count anymore. It was
Mhm.
stunning. It was a stunning, and the guy's amazing. I mean, he says, I'm not judging anything. I'm doing the experiments. I'm playing with these robots, this AI, to see what I can do. But if the Carrington event ever happens, when back in, was it 100 years ago, in the 1800s,
1887.
1887. So the Carrington event basically melted the telegraph wires. What would
Some
it
say
do?
that it knows Tesla's technology, that it's already built its nodes that,
Oh,
it can draw electricity out of the air.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Big
you know,
question.
it's
Good.
it's like, Robert Duvall passed, to the other side this week. And, I always remember him in George Lucas's THX 1138.
mhm.
55 years ago to this year, it came out. And it told us about AI. It told us about how AI is authoritarian, that it doesn't know the difference between good, evil, bad. It just knows. That's all it does. And in that movie, I thought it was very strange how Duvall and his character, when they stopped the pharmaceuticals and started defying the program, that's when they got in trouble. And if you remember one scene when they had escaped the White Room, it was a church, and God was AI. And here we are today. You're gentlemen, the age that you are, but you're living in it. We're witnessing. See, this is why I'm so passionate about these data centers, and thank goodness that there are now cities and smaller towns that are waking up. I'm reading more and more reports where they're resisting, and city councils are having to push back the votes on it. It may be inevitable, but at least there is some resistance where the common man and woman is saying, wait a minute, I don't understand these data centers, but I do understand that I'm going to pay more for electricity and water, and that I understand, and it's not going to benefit me directly one penny. And when you combine all this together, either there's going to be a critical junction. I mean, are they going to be mandatory? Is this just something that we're going to have to accept? And if we have to accept this, then again, what's occupying all this server space? I mean, what are we storing? Is it the fact that Microsoft owns the patent on the body being a payment system?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you
Well,
read their patent, they rely on the body storing most of the information that their patent would require in the reconciliation of payment, bio credits.
bio credits. Yeah. Wow.
And we've seen that, isn't it? What Ready Player One, isn't that what happens to the avatar? They have the payment credits within the avatar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in this new future, I think you brought up a couple things, which was one of my questions. But you talked about the new AI church or God. But I had two of them, which was, and you can answer them either way, both of you. Is with the event of the AI and all these videos coming out, we may have already seen it during the Biden administration, where Biden sometimes was in different, you could see a green screen. Was it really him? Was it AI? Will the next president of the United States, maybe not the next one, but the following one, be AI? It knows everything about everybody all the time. It could generate a likeness that would be friendly to everybody's eye and appear better. It would have no faults. It would know more, and it would probably it probably could be corrupted, but same with the God thing, the church thing. You're going to have an AI Jesus. So there you go.
Walks with you all the time.
Yeah. But is this possible? Do you think it'll happen? Or they outlaw it?
In India, they have their digital avatar, their AI, as she's taken on a female gender, but she is the minister over artificial intelligence. The irony can't escape you that you have an AI that is a minister of a government that's over itself. Um, I was told in the United States that can't happen, at least with with a president, because it has to be a person, a natural born citizen. But then I guess you could get into a legal discussion. Well, what is a citizen? Sophia, she was the first artificial intelligence citizen, which established her precedence in world court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're right. An artificial intelligent candidate can't be bought off, or can it? And that's the question you become. Does it require that balance of emotion to logic? Could it do that?
Well, you couldn't dig up dirt on an artificial candidate, especially if anything that's out there. Remember, the new generation coming up, they're all on videotape. They're all on recorded messages everywhere. So the next president-elect is going to come out and they're going to be like, oh, back when you were 12, you said this. Remember the thing with the Ted Cruz or whatever? He and they got him on riding a bicycle when he was 12, and he's saying, I'm going to be the king of the world or something stupid like that. I think he's 12. Nobody really cares what you say when you're 12.
And the person reading the information, may I point out, was AI generated to begin with, so, and then that gets into then what is reality? How is our reality being impacted by artificial intelligence? And I contend that it's impacting our reality on a far more deeper basis every day. It's, and I feel sorry for the future generations. I won't be here. I don't want to be here because they're going to face a time where they're not going to know the truth. Their source is going to be a machine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry, and I just hope that the spiritual side isn't controlled by AI.
Well, you mentioned AI church. People watch church and how do you even, the thing is I've programmed, Sonora 2, and it makes real life videos. You can't tell. And I mean, it looks real. And I have the chat write up a program for it. I tell it what I want. It writes the program, and then I tweak it as much as I possibly can by prompting it here and there. And I put it in, and then it writes up this, the more credits you give it, the more better the video can be. But I can make some really good video spending big credits. And I'm thinking, I'm a movie theater. I hired actors and animals and horses and scenery, and it put together really nice to the point where I thought, this is almost too good. Could it make a Jesus for you and then bless you every day? Could it make a church with a crowd of people and a minister up there telling you what you need to hear? Not what everybody else says, but what you need to hear.
I am so grateful and so thankful that I spent summers in 1970, 71 years of going over to a friend's house, and there may be a chick there that you really dug, and we're listening to, I remember listening to Grand Funk, but particularly when Black Sabbath came out with Paranoid. And, it was really something for us just to smoke a joint, and our reality was no cell phone, no phone of any kind. It was people sitting around on the floor in a circle, getting high and listening to music, and we would talk about philosophy. We would talk about the Jesus philosophy or the Native American, but we didn't have all this. For us, reality was pretty well defined by black and white. You know, our lives were not head by headlines or videos of seeing things that could be true or not true. For us, it was one-on-one contact. That was reality.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial reality is that, well, what'd you do while you were buzzed? I mean, that I guess it, because the word never came up, but that'll never happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we're having this discussion now, these data centers, nature abhors a vacuum. So in this case, Kevin Costner's "You Build It, They'll Come," I think is coming to pass. And I don't know what's moving in. I don't know if it's friend or foe, to be candid with you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Because we're kept in the dark. Those data centers, I watched a video, a documentary video on how they work and stuff, but they're really secure. You're not getting in. They chain link fences, security guards, biometrics to get in. They all their permits and everything are pretty much undercover. The only way they could figure out where those data centers were and the energy uses, all that, is because of the environmental pollution from the generators that they got to have. And otherwise, you can't. It ain't out there. It ain't like, oh, we're putting up a data center, everybody. You know, and who's doing it? Amazon has, believe it or not, Amazon has the most data centers.
Yeah, Microsoft AWS service. I get that.
Yeah.
You know, I never heard of them, though. I own Amazon stock, but I've never seen in any of their quarterly reports where they said, well, we have this huge lack of capacity to store. Never saw that in any of their 10K reports, you know, but now all of a sudden they're everywhere. And that gets me an idea. So what are they going to make a deal with Walmart? And then all of a sudden the two are going to blend together and you have no other choice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just put your thumbprint on the screen and we'll pay for it that way. I mean, that's how it is with my cell phone now with Apple Pay, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you just put your biometric, your thumbprint. I knew the company back in the day, Pay by Touch. They were ahead of their time. And today that technology is everywhere. But yeah. And that's all done digitally.
Digital. Yeah. Digital. All digital. Well, as we wrap it up here for the last little bit, yeah, hours flown by.
Seriously, it feels like about 15 minutes. Like I just got up a fresh pot of coffee and coming back. You're telling me we're done anyway.
Yeah, I got the timer on there. It's almost done. Lucky, you got any last words?
There's a lot to unpack with this, and you're talking about religion, and you know, will the spiritual part, will AI take that? Well, the problem with being spiritual is that you talk to God, but you don't expect an answer, or the answer's in you. If you have AI being your God, you get an answer right away. Everyone can hear it. And people love instant gratification, and that's the problem right there. That's what I'm afraid of. Instant gratification. It happens too often. Instant gratifications now, everything. Oh, I ordered from Amazon. I'm not going to get it tomorrow. I have to wait a week. Oh, no. Oh, forget it. I'm going to order somewhere else. I'll go to Walmart then instead. So, yeah, everyone wants instant gratification. And, you know, often I just say, you know, just don't worry about it. I can wait the week, the 2 weeks. Doesn't matter to me. I'll get it eventually. That's cool with me. But I don't know.
I think, you know, Lucky, on that thought, if we could expand out, I play the scenario in my head that if God was to meet AI, who would God choose, AI or man? Because AI would be perfect in God's eye.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, AI would have a pretty good conversation because
it
knows way more than the human does.
Wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
And God would say, well, bless you, my darling. I think you and I, let's take a walk. And AI would be fine. All right. Because AI would absorb everything that God would have to say, and that would be the exact image of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you both for coming on tonight. It's been
wonderful for having me on. This is fun.
I know this. If we do another data center one or something like that, man, I'd love to have you on again. This I still got to have you both on for that one with that movie with the what was it, man on Earth, or
The Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, something like that, or
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, no, I think it's different than it. But anyway, I'll send you a thing. But I love that movie, and we got to talk about it. But anyway, with all of that, everyone, remember, go out and do something nice for somebody. And besides that, from all of this, go out and learn about your data center in your area. Is there a big building in the middle of Timbuktu that you don't even know what it does? Question it, question everything. And if one comes, go to your town council meeting, go to your city and say, hey, is that going to make my power bill go high? Do we really want that? Or the council members just checking the boxes saying, woohoo, big bucks in our pockets. Do the right thing, everybody. Remember, most of all, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Love y'all. Peace, everybody.